What's going on, everyone? This is TheProPilot. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing power steering pump rebuild and reseal. Alright guys, so to get started, here's how you're going to take your pump apart. It's going to be together like this, okay, and it's going to have the pulley on here. This shaft is going to be in here, and this lock ring, okay. So what you're going to do, you're going to take one of the mounting bolts that you use to hold the pump on, and you're going to put it in loosely, and you're going to basically make it to where it interferes with the pulley. And you're going to take your 14mm nut with an impact and buzz it off. It'll come right off because the pulley won't be able to turn. The pulley slips right off. Place your nut and everything in a safe, clean place. From there, you can take your four bolts that hold the thing together. Okay, and that's these here, and they're on the back side. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the long bolts go here, shorties go right here. Now, this whole thing's going to come apart. I do recommend that you face it shaft side pointing down. It's going to look kind of like this when you go to push it out, okay, or when you go to take it apart. Take it apart this way and take the cover off like that. That's going to expose, potentially this might be on the dowels, okay, and it has this little tension washer here. Okay, so you're going to take that off, set these down over here, and then you're going to come up to this. This is going to be sitting on these dowels with this and 10 of these little guys. So what I recommend you do to get them out without losing any of them, continue holding it like this, take a magnetic wand and one by one go around pulling them out and set them down in a magnetic tray. There's a reason I recommend doing it this way, because if you don't, you might be like me and be wondering where the 10th one is. There are 10 of them. Okay, one last thing. I'm not even going to really be able to show this on video, but there is a rounded, beveled, not even beveled, it's rounded side, and then there is a flat side. So make sure the flat side faces inward and the rounded side faces out. So that way while it's rotating, the smooth side is sweeping the inside of the face. Once you get that out, you can remove this ring, place it down on your mat, then you can remove this. It comes right off. It actually has it's what goes on the pump side of the spline drive, okay, on this shaft. That's what's going on there. Okay, in order to get this shaft out, this is gonna be in here fully flushed down, okay, and it's actually going to be recessed in quite a bit, and it's going to be held in by one of these C-clips. You're going to want to remove the C-clip with a pair of C-clip pliers. You just simply place the pliers in there. So, okay, you're actually going to want it to crush the thing out. So while it's in this housing, it's actually going to be a lot easier. You're going to squeeze, and then you're going to angle this end right here up, grab it with your pick, and then continue working it out, and it'll come right out. Once you've got this C-clip out, the shaft is actually going to come out with the bearing, just like you see here. So what you're going to want to do, turn this for a second, apologize if it wobbles a little bit. There we go. So what you're going to want to do, you can see I've already got the bearing out here, and it's going to be recessed in here and held in by that C-clip. So just keep that in mind. Initially, when you go to hammer it, it doesn't really matter how much space you have here because the bearing isn't going to hit it yet. But once you get the first impacts on the back side of this shaft, make sure you don't hit these dowels. Make sure, okay? If they just pop out, take them out. Mine don't want to come out, so make sure you don't strike them because then these other plates don't go on as smoothly. So give it a couple strikes here. When you see it sink down, pick it back up and look to see if this is flush with right here. Okay, look to see if this right here is flush with this right here on the housing. Once it is, you're going to need to open up your vise or your platform that you're using, and you're going to need to get it exactly just big enough. Let's see if I could turn this a little bit to show you what I'm talking about, to where when you hammer it, the bearing can come out. Okay, so you're going to want to set it up to where it's on the edges here, like that. Once you've got the bearing out, you're going to want to remove the seal. It's a similar process for the seal. That is the seal right here, this copper looking thing with the black center. So what you're going to do is you're going to put it down, face down, take your flathead, push it down and onto the back side of the seal and strike it. And then strike it. And it should start working its way out. From there, once you get this seal out, I'll do that off camera. Once you get the seal out, you're then going to want to take this bearing off. So you're going to come back over to your vise. You're going to want to set it up just off of the shaft. Make sure the shaft can move. Okay. And you're going to hammer it this way. And obviously, a little hammer like this is not going to do it. You're going to need your you're going to need a shot peen hammer, something like this. Alrighty. Once you got that off, it's the same process for putting the bearing back on. You're going to put your new seal in. I recommend using a socket. There we go. An impact 22 or an impact 24 is going to be what gets it back in there for you. From there, you're going to replace the gasket. Once you get the halves all back together, you're going to put your shaft back in. Okay. You're also, again, going to use a nice large, this one's not big enough because you don't want to smash on that seal, because that seal is where the bearings are. So I'm going to need a bigger one than the 24. It's my 30. There we go. 30 is going to be perfect. So there we go. Get that back in. You could even put your C-clip back on, your new C-clip, and put your pulley back on, nut, lock it, tighten it down to the torque spec. I don't have that in front of me at the moment. I'll leave that in the description. And then from there, you're going to turn it on its face with the pulley. Slide this back on, this back in. Put these little guys back in. Apparently there's a correct direction for them to go in. I'm going to make sure and take note of that before I get finished. Then you're going to take this doohickey here and place it on the end of the dowels. Your little tensioner spring right there. Put your gasket on, cover, torque it to spec. I hope that helps, everyone. It was a little bit disorganized. This is my first time doing it. Hope that helps. Have a great day.